Hey, welcome back everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing day. It is now, of course, the middle of October. We are not only getting closer to, of course, other Star Wars shows out there like Tales of the Jedi on October 26th, but we also have, of course, the remaining half of Star Wars Andor to go through as well. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that there's a lot of things happening at the same exact time by FAVREAU and filoni, and really propelling things in a better path. Now, most recently, John and Dave have been getting involved in more and more projects, either ones that are in the early development phase or the, pre-production phase. There's a lot of things going on with a lot of the aspects of the roadmap of Star Wars right now. So given that, of course, there's a lot of things happening with John and Dave and George as well on handling the franchise and really bringing it into a better, path to turn things around, to make things all the more positive as an experience for the Star Wars fandom and more. Now that brings us to what's going on with one of the upcoming Star Wars projects, and how it very may be one of the biggest moments in Star Wars history when it comes to what Disney is doing with making something very much innovative, doing something very different that's going to really kind of give us something very unique, and we're going to be tapping into this right now. So, with that being said, of course, given that FAVREAU and filoni pretty much have their hands tied, I mean, they got so many things that they're working on right now, but with Lucasfilm creating many Star Wars projects that are now a part of the roadmap, creators FAVREAU and filoni are beginning to work on multiple shows in different stages of development. Now, it's noted, however, that Lucasfilm is set to create a canon Star Wars TV show that may come across as controversial to some Star Wars fans, as they are getting ready to develop a series that will be a very unique Star Wars show that will feature canon visions of certain characters in the Star Wars world. This is said to be Lucasfilm's version of Marvel's What If. However, in the show, it's not necessarily a what if scenario. The show is currently dubbed and under the codename of Project Prophecy or Star Wars Prophecy, and will be a realistic animated Star Wars TV show that will feature visions that certain characters see in the canon of the Star Wars franchise. These visions are set to be shown to the fans of what goes on in some of the characters' minds. FAVREAU and filoni are already storyboarding the show, one of which involves an episode that features the vision that Leia has of her son Ben Solo dying, and why she abandoned the Jedi Order. Now let me just pause here quickly for a second. Now, the animation style of this new show, currently under the codename of Star Wars Prophecy, is that it's gonna be, like I say, a version of Marvel's What If, but it's not just gonna be what if stuff. It's gonna be actual events that could happen. So, I think that Lucasfilm is playing things very smart here, especially what FAVREAU and filoni are doing. Now again, this could very well be a controversial show because of certain things and choices that some characters may see or some characters may do in our actual Star Wars show. But I think it's going to be a positive experience, to say the least. So basically, this is FAVREAU and filoni's smart way of creating a what-if Star Wars series. Now, technically, we already got that with Star Wars Visions, in a sense, but that was really more or less just ideas, or just, kind of mixing anime and Star Wars together in one. It didn't really mean anything all that much when it comes to canon. It was just kind of like an idea, right? Like, what if Star Wars met the anime style? But this is going to be made officially canon. It's going to be a realistic animated Star Wars show in 3D, and what I mean by that is, it's going to be a CG animated show. It's going to be like the old Republic animated style, but in that, they're making these visions canon. It's going to be an anthology show. It's going to consist of many episodes. It's said to be around 10 or so, and it will feature visions that characters have. For example, Leia seeing the death of her son Ben Solo, and exactly why that led to her abandoning, the Jedi Order. Now, this is a very interesting thing here, because when you look at everything related to Jon and Dave, is that they're trying to really make sure that shows like this are really going to be propelled in, of course, the future of the Star Wars universe. Now, here we have, of course, Jon and Dave doing pretty much the unthinkable. Now, another illustration description showcases Luke Skywalker turning into the new version of Darth Vader after his defeat. Essentially, this show is to actually be a realistic approach to providing fans a what-if series where these events are, however, actually happening, except in the form of visions in certain characters' minds. Now, this new series is said to be an anthology show, much like Tales of the Jedi, where each episode is its own story. Jon and Dave knew a regular what-if show would never work, which is why they are making it a series of canon visions that happen in characters' minds. The characters featured in the show will range from the originals, prequels, and sequels, and even Legends characters coming back in the canon under Disney. The animation will be ultra-realistic and not like Rebels or Clone Wars, or even Tales for that matter. Completely different animation style. So the best way to really describe this show, imagine what happens in The Rise of Skywalker, for example, where Rey's training on that forest world, and she begins to see visions of her dark side version. On the throne, you see quick little glimpses here and there. Imagine tapping into that, except into a full episode. It's stuff like that where it's basically going to be technically a what-if story, but at the same exact time, technically not. It is a very possible future. It's something that can absolutely happen. So these are visions that are happening in characters' minds that are being made into full-length episodes. Honestly, I think that this is such a very smart idea by Favreau and Filoni to give us something that could very well happen in a realistic sense. Because let's not forget, Star Wars is all about visions, alright? Visions are always happening in characters' minds, even if they're off camera. And that gives us endless possibilities of what we could actually see in the Star Wars world, and how, we could actually see all these different avenues that Jon and Dave can really take about what's about to happen. So, obviously, this is a very good example of what they're about to do in the Star Wars world. So, at the end of the day, Tales of the Jedi, I think, is going to be a great example of how anthology shows are really going to kick off and become very successful. I think anthology shows, to be honest, are going to become the new norm. I really do believe that. I do, in the sense, at least for animated shows. I think it's really going to become a big thing. But like I say, guys, this project is not going to have the animation style of Clone Wars, Rebels, or Tales. It's going to be very realistic, alright? So it's almost going to feel like live action. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.